Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. D&D players, what have been some of your favorite moments in a campaign? Part 1. I created an NPC werewolf character that was supposed to be a major villain in the campaign and stalk the players. It was a higher level than the PCs, so the idea was that they would need to flee every encounter and take measures to avoid being followed. Having someone on their tail constantly tracking them that could and would actually kill them was supposed to inject a sense of urgency into the game. On the first encounter, the werewolf was shown methodically slaying a large group of town guards and a high-ranking paladin. The characters were around level 5 or so. The NPC was probably combat rated at 12. And would scale as they leveled. They interrupted the combat, and the idea was that they would attempt to fight the werewolf, who didn't consider them a threat initially, and so wouldn't just murder the whole party, seeing it killing a high-level character and go, "Oh shit, we need to run from it," while it slaughtered the rest of the guards. So at first, they rush in to help and attack the werewolf, doing little damage because they don't have silver weapons, and I gave this particular NPC a regeneration ability only stopped by silver. I have the werewolf attack one of the players with a secondary bite attack, which should put them to fairly low health without killing them outright. That player pauses for a moment and then asks if he can try to block the attack with his hand. I'm not sure what he's getting at, but I humor him and say that he can do that with a DC 10 dexterity check, although it won't affect what kind of damage he takes. He succeeds. He then asks if he can jam his hand into the werewolf's mouth. I say sure, but he's probably going to bite it off, and you'll need a new hand. He says, "Even better." I describe the werewolf doing so. The rest of the combat continues until the player's turn, who seems to be undisturbed by the loss of a hand. And on his turn, he says, "I activate Qual's feather token to make a tree." Oh, this is gonna be good. This token is a magic one-time use item that creates a 5-foot diameter, 40-foot high tree. It's a handy utility item that our play group was fond of. Previously, we'd use it to do things from just making bridges and crossing walls, to providing a druid with a way to use a particular spell in plantless areas that require trees. It didn't seem to have much use here. I ask him where on the board he's activating it. He points at the werewolf. I say that the most that's going to do is knock the werewolf prone, and he gets a fairly easy save to prevent that. He smiles. "No, it's in the werewolf." "What? How?" "I was holding it when he ate my hand." Me and the rest of the party are kind of silent for a second. I'm trying to think of a valid reason why this won't work. I fail. The werewolf now has a 5-foot wide tree growing out of him. The fact that he has regeneration doesn't particularly help when little bits of him are plastered on walls 20 feet away. The entire party celebrated, and they got a reward from the town and an ally in the paladin who was supposed to be dead. I had to make a new NPC. Clever players are awesome. I was a bard. My team of people and I were sailing to an island when out of nowhere a loud noise alerted everyone. A giant kraken emerged from the water, menacing and ready to kill. I rolled the lowest initiative. I don't know why that's funny. The first turn, my team prepared spells, readied their bows, and prepared to fight as the kraken approached our vessel slowly. And then it was my turn. Since I was the last to go, and so far away, I decided to distract the Kraken. I say, "Hey Kraken, look at this!" and proceeded to do the cheap magic trick of pretending to pull my thumb off. Oh. The Kraken froze and looked at amazement. I continued my trick and we sailed past. And then my DM and everyone busted out laughing. He tried to set up this epic battle, but it turned into a joke. The Kraken rolled a 1. I was playing a druid and wound up missing a session. When I returned, my beloved forest had been burned to the ground, which sent me into a rage, while I inflicted vengeance upon the orcs who did it. The DM even gave me bonus stats in my berserk state. The party decided to not tell me that they'd actually been the ones to start the fire. I ran a game with a bunch of friends who never played Dungeons & Dragons before. Some had to leave because they moved, but I added in new players to keep the party at around the same amount of people. Going from levels 1 through 7, the party had beaten everything that stood in their way. At level 8, they were exploring some ancient ruins and finally got to the boss fight, a clay golem. Without specialized weapons, they're difficult to damage, so the party slowly withered it down when the golem out of nowhere got a crit on a very low health party member. They went from okay to dead. And that's when one of the players turned to me with big bright eyes of horrific recognition. "You can die!" It was a beautiful moment. When we used an illusion to make the ropes we tied a bandit up with to look like snakes and convinced him that he had come down with a bad case of the snakes, we cured him in exchange for information, and fear of coming down with the snakes spread throughout the countryside. I don't remember exactly how, but my character had begun to hallucinate. Of course, my DM knew this fact, but I was oblivious. I walk down into this underground passageway and start poking some boxes. I meet a dragon. A very nice dragon that isn't trying to kill me. So I tried to con the dragon into telling me where to find the artifact. Fast forward about 10 minutes and I'm caught attempting to seduce a gas lamp. Does it have to be D&D? I ran a Cthulhu game where I did a pre-game to teach everyone the rules and, as a general, warm up. I pre-generated the characters for everyone. They were idiot cultists out to steal an artifact for their masters. The players came up with an elaborate heist, managed to get the artifact, and return it. When the real game started, the characters were mostly investigators, and their case, solving the crime they committed with their other characters. It was great pointing out how sloppy their heist plan was. There were cameras everywhere, witnesses, fingerprints, etc. Of course, the cult leader turned them all into zombie minions, so they even had to fight their former selves at one point. It was a nice surprise for the players and a lot of fun. Okay, I have two. Last spring, my friend ran a Pathfinder campaign, and at one point we were gearing up for a big fight against a werewolf. Before this, we kind of just slid by on dumb luck and sometimes me setting things on fire. So we're freaking out and our swashbuckler just starts talking to the werewolf. A few rolls later, and the werewolf just got so annoyed that he up and left. The second comes from a campaign my boyfriend runs. This past Monday, one of his players decided to rob an apothecary. He never cased the place. This dude wasn't a rogue. The place didn't have any windows, so he decided to go down the chimney, grab his things, and get back out. As a normal-sized human does while scaling a chimney, he got stuck, so he bangs a potion against the wall, took explosive damage, and now he's on fire. So he's freaking out and breaks another. There's another explosion, and now he's covered in acid. So he picks up one of the potions and drinks it, gains back some health, then takes acid damage. He drinks one of the other potions before remembering he has water in his pack, so he puts out the fire and washes off the acid, but he's still stuck. He decides, maybe I'll bang my head against the wall to try to get out. No. Takes damage. Time for death saving throws. Crit fail. This 10th level character died alone in a chimney, half melted. We got together the biggest group ever to sleep over at our DM's house. Within an hour, our party had entered a dungeon complex. In the first hallway, I examined a large, strange-looking mirror surrounded by sculpted demon faces or something. Without even a moment's thought, I announced that I'm going to try to step into the mirror. DM tells me to step into another room, then informs me that I've stepped into some hellish dimension where my character would reside for eternity. We walk back into the game room, and I grab a calculator, smiling, and begin updating my character sheet. Within seconds, the entire party had jumped into the mirror. Game over. This is going to require a bit of backstory to bring this particular moment into context. I played a half-orc named Grimgor, and my cousin played his brother named Golgoth. Now, early in their adventuring career, the half-orc brothers had been in two situations where they had been drinking at a tavern when said tavern was attacked by a horde of zombies, resulting in the rapid fortification of the tavern and its eventual destruction via fire. Fast forward several years real time. Grimgor and Golgoth find themselves drinking at a bar on a space station after mucking about in a palace within which every single door leads to another world. The half-orcs are veterans of such things, and thus no fucks are given to the fact they are in space. They decide to look around before heading home, and this particular station is in a well-traveled sector of space, so the bar looks like something out of the Star Wars cantina scene. Lots of aliens of different species, so no one bats an eye at two armored half-orcs packing swords and battle axes because, honestly, they don't look much different from any other alien. So we come to the event. Grimgor is at the bar, and like any professional drunk, is working his way through an array of alien drinks when in walks a zombie, which in this space universe is a person who had their body reanimated via nanotechnology as a cheap means of immortality. Grimgor has flashbacks of those times when his favorite taverns got destroyed during zombie attacks, so he cuts the fella down and starts yelling for everyone to fortify the bar. Oh god. Now this unfortunate lad happened to be a part of a pirate crew that didn't take kindly to this alien cutting down their friend, so a huge fight breaks out between the half-orcs, the pirates, and the bystanders. Station security is called in, so now we have a four-way battle being fought with laser guns, plasma swords, magical weapons, and a whole slew of magical goodies high-level adventurers keep on their person at any given time. During the battle, fire suppression system is damaged. Oh no, the station catches fire, and during the chaos, Grimgor and Golgoth make their escape back to their world just as the fire reaches the reactor and the station gets blown to hell. This event forever left poor Grimgor with the constant paranoia that any tavern he is in can be attacked by zombies and burned down at any given moment. Posted this before, but it was too much fun, so I'll repeat it. I ran a campaign which had thinly disguised analogs to real medieval countries and religions. So, we had a Christian, Muslim, and Norse paladins in the same party. Oh my Buddha, was that a mess. Fun though. Okay, upon closer investigation, the obelisk and altar appear to be some kind of shrine to a local forest god. I roll a heresy check. Roll the 2 crap. You're not quite sure if this is heretical? So, there is probably no God but God, and his name is likely Allah? You slept through Quran 101, okay? I do a heresy check too. 14. You're a polytheist. Doctrine is to respect local gods. Heck, this shrine might be for Odin under another name. Don't worry, boys. This altar checks out. I want to do a heresy check too. And natural 20. This altar represents blackest heathen evil, human sacrifice, unspeakable rites, forbidden names. You feel a sudden urge to start a crusading order and claim this land for the one true faith. This will end well. Group Scoundrel wanted to permanently silence a public critic of the group's methods for saving the town. Decided to give him a moral test when he snuck into the man's house. So, I gave him a wife and newborn baby, thinking it might make him rethink things. Does he think about the lives he'd ruined by murdering this man and sneak back out? Nope. Kills the wife, kills the man, abducts the baby, steals a horse, rides 4 hours into the desert, drops the baby into a ravine, and then makes it back to his friends without anybody knowing what happened. The end! What a fucking loony story. Hey there everyone, Brian here. If you liked the video, slam that thumbs up home and let us know. And if you're new to the channel, then drop us a subscribe and say hello, as it certainly helps us, and we always want to expand this community as much as we can. We truly love tabletop stories, not just D&D, but Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, name it, and we want to tell all the tales we can. So, on that note, if you'd like to share a story that you have, consider checking us out on the subreddit. There's a link in the description, and leaving us some stories on there for us to tell. Or, you could throw a relevant story, to the topic of this video anyway, in the comments below. We're always reading and checking both the Reddit and the comments section for new stories. We'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.